Hello, this is Dr. Wilshire at Missouri Fertility in Columbia, Missouri. Welcome to our frequently asked questions series, Just the Facts. Today's question comes from Abigail M., and it's an excellent question. The question is, when one is using donor eggs, is it better to go fresh or obtain them frozen? Very good question. Both of these methods for obtaining pregnancy are getting over an egg problem. We're generally getting eggs from healthy women, so we should take care of that genetic issue. Now, when we're using fresh eggs, we can either get them from a donor agency or get them from a known source. When you're getting fresh eggs from a healthy young woman from a donor source, it can be rather expensive. Sometimes, however, people will have friends or sometimes a family member that has volunteered to act as an egg donor, and this greatly diminishes costs. The flip side of this, however, is sometimes you ask a person for eggs who is not a good candidate or who is suboptimal. We generally like egg donors to be in their early to mid-20s. Sometimes you'll ask someone who's maybe 35 or more years old to be your egg donor because that's all you can afford. When you obtain eggs from a frozen source, from an egg bank, every one of these women is young and healthy and genetically screened. So depending on how much you can afford and where you're getting eggs, the fresh may not be better than those that you get from a frozen source. So we'll compromise for monetary reasons, and that's understandable. Now, when we're getting eggs from a young, healthy donor and we're getting the eggs fresh, it is not uncommon to get 15, 20, 30, or more eggs. When you get eggs from a bank, they come in something called a straw, and these frequently come about 6 to 8 to a straw. Now, if you only want to have one child, then 6 to 8 eggs should give you just as good a chance of having one child as 15, 20, 30 eggs. However, if you want to start a family and have more than one child, obviously starting out with a larger number of fresh eggs will probably give you a better chance at multiple pregnancies. Now, when you're getting eggs from a person, a young woman who, in a fresh manner, they have to be available. A lot of these women are in college. They have to work around their schedules. Some of these women have already been contracted to another couple in another part of the country. So you have to wait till she's done there, so there can be delays. When you order frozen eggs from a bank, they're available almost immediately. As soon as you can obtain them, FedEx can get them to you in a day or two. So as far as timing goes, a frozen bank has advantages. It's hard to evaluate success rates. Frozen eggs are very, very temperamental, and they have to be handled virtually perfectly in the lab. Temperatures off even a degree can degrade their success rates. So if there's a lab that's not as experienced with frozen eggs, perhaps fresh eggs might give a better chance. But if you have a lab that's very comfortable and they're very experienced using frozen eggs to make embryos, then success rates should be comparable. Now, costs. The cost of a straw of 6 to 8 frozen eggs is generally around $15,000 to $16,000 to my knowledge. This is not an accident. That's roughly what it costs to generate embryos with in vitro fertilization using fresh eggs. So the costs are basically comparable. Like I said, however, if you have a young donor who's going to give you lots of eggs, you generally get way more than 6 to 8 embryos. So, frozen and fresh, they're both very reasonable, both very doable. However, some have more advantages in one category and some have advantages in the other. I hope this answers your question, Abigail. Thank you for the excellent question. This is Dr. Wilshire at Missouri Fertility in Columbia, Missouri. Thank you for your time.